Lingoda, the #1 trusted online language school.
Not sure what evidence they have to support this claim.
We are revolutionizing language learning. You can think of Lingoda as a traditional school that has moved online.
My goodness, so much for revolutionizing. I could end my review here, but still, let's see what the Lingoda Method is all about, and to help us do that, we are going to enlist the help of one Agatha, who is in charge of teacher training at Lingoda. She graduated from ethnolinguistics, what a mouthful, holds a CELTA and an MA in digital technologies for language teaching, and has been professionally active in the field of language teaching for more than 10 years. A skilled language teacher herself. Oh, Agatha has moved on to a new adventure and is no longer with the #1 trusted online language school. Interesting. Gone after less than 6 months with Lingoda. Hey Agatha, get in touch with me for an interview on the topics of language teaching, Lingoda and CELTA certificates and ethnolinguistics. Who am I? Oh, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Vladimir and I have mastered a foreign language as an adult. And I repeat, as an adult. And I also have 12 years of experience teaching foreign languages to adults. Over 2,000 adults. And on top of all that, I've taken Lingoda classes. 3, to be precise. And so I think I'm qualified enough to give an objective opinion on the matter. A language learner, an adult learner, a teacher, and Lingoda user. Okay, let's hear Agatha's description of the Lingoda method.
Well, the Lingoda method could be defined using 3 main points. Speaking, language learning beliefs, and the importance of autonomous learning. Let us start with speaking then. You know, Lingoda insists on speaking quite a lot. It's everywhere, and we want it to be everywhere, because speaking is related to confidence, and these 2 aspects are explored here in these slides that are the same across all the languages and across all the levels. So here, for example, on this slide you will see this little story of James who went abroad to get a cup of coffee, and he couldn't because he just he was not able to do that in the foreign language. And then your learners will be invited to...
He couldn't order a coffee. Why couldn't he order a coffee? Coffee, please. A cup of coffee, please.
Discuss why he couldn't do that. What's the
why he
role
couldn't do that?
Of confidence in learning a language?
What's the role of confidence? I mean, yeah, confidence plays a role in everything we do, but confidence is not language dependent. Confident people are confident regardless of language, regardless of native or a foreign language. Foreign language confidence tends to mirror native language confidence. Oh boy.
On this slide you will see that there is a question about the importance of speaking, and again your students will be invited to think about it, to talk about it, to define their own attitude to that. Another point is language learning beliefs. Now, language learning beliefs are extremely crucial because what your students believe, they do. The learning behavior will be related to what they believe about learning a language. And here we really want...
True. That's why I start my book, Virtually Native, with some of the biggest myths about language learning.
To tackle some 3 important language learning beliefs. The first one is mistakes, and I would say it's the biggest one of all of them, because if your students think that making mistakes is bad and should be punished and should be avoided, this belief should be debunked. And this slide, again, the same across all languages and all the levels, it's about that. It's about stopping and reflecting on the nature of mistakes in language learning. Again, no ideas are just forced on your students. There is just space created for them to reflect on that, and hopefully it will lead them to the right conclusion that making mistakes is absolutely okay, and it's the only way to make progress in language learning.
This one is one of those myths, the mistakes are okay myth. I never understood it. If mistakes are okay, then why do people go to language schools? If pronunciation mistakes are okay and grammar mistakes are okay, then what is Lingoda for? Such hypocrites, man. They all say that mistakes are okay, but all they are selling is the correct way of saying things, of pronouncing things. They all exist for the sole purpose of fixing your mistakes and teaching you how to say things the correct way, the right way, the British way, the American way. And it's not just about English, the French way, the Japanese way, the proper way, the way native speakers say it, pronounce it. Just look at how they market the bloody classes.
Hi! Today, let's talk about past experiences. What did you do last weekend?
Last weekend, I went to an expensive restaurant. It costed me a kidney.
Careful. To cost has an irregular past simple form. It's the same as present simple.
Ah, good. So, it cost me a kidney.
Great. But in English, we use a different part of the body if something is very expensive.
A foot?
Close. If something is very expensive, we say it costs an arm and a leg.
Lingoda, get your mistakes fixed.
Another point is comfort zone. So this slide here explores the idea of comfort zone, and to be more exact, of getting out of your comfort zone when learning a language.
Another nonsense. Never understood the idea of getting out of one's comfort zone with regards to language learning. What is it? Speak as much as possible. What is it? Don't be shy? As I said, confidence has very little to do with language.
Because let's face it, when you learn a language, being out of your comfort zone is basically the default state.
Why am I so angry?
And your students need to learn to embrace it instead of resisting it.
Mm-hmm.
And the last idea that this slide invites to consider is a comparison between sports and maths. The idea of making a comparison between two skills that nearly everyone is familiar with is important because it just allows to compare it to something that maybe we've tried before. So language learning, like the ultimate conclusion that we hope our students will come to, is that learning a language is not as simple as learning. I mean, as simple. Maths are not simple. It's not like learning maths, let's say, when you just follow some strict rules. No, it's about following rules too, but first of all, it's about practicing, just like in sports.
This is wrong on so many levels. On all levels, which is the main proof that the Lingoda method is ineffective. Sports versus mathematics. First of all, Agatha has no idea what mathematics are. In fact, the misconceptions about mathematics are just as ubiquitous as those about language learning. And so let's replace mathematics with, say, history, or psychology, or economics, or marketing. But let us choose one. Is language sports or history? Is learning a language like learning history or like learning to play tennis? Is language about building your muscle memory or about acquiring knowledge? Is language a motor skill or a cognitive skill? It is something I talk about in my book, Virtually Native.
You know, you need to show up every day and you need to build the muscle. The last point is
build the muscle. One muscle. Which muscle? What was it? A degree in ethnolinguistics with a CELTA and an MA in who gives a fuck? My goodness.
The last point is autonomous learning. Of course, autonomous learning has many aspects, but here I'm just focusing on two. The first one is booking the next class. So a student...
The first one is booking the next class. You had me at autonomous and you lost me at book the next class. Autonomous, says Oxford Dictionary. Let us look at the second meaning.
Of a person able to do things and make decisions without help from anyone else.
And check out the example sentence.
Teachers aim to help students become autonomous learners.
Synonym: independent. Booking the next class is the exact opposite of autonomous. I had 3 classes with Lingoda, and there was nothing about helping students become independent learners, become autonomous learners.
A student takes responsibility for what is going to happen next, what class they're going to book.
What class they're going to book.
And it's a decision that they're going to take on their own. We cannot force them to follow any specific learning
So that's
path,
what they mean
but
by
we can
autonomous
guide and we
learning.
can recommend, and that's very important
For them
because we
to
don't
choose
want to have
the next class on their
students
own.
who are not on the right level.
That's what autonomy is all about. You choose your own class.
In our classes. And the second point is speaking. Well, speaking here understood as, again, taking responsibility for their learning in class. I mean, being proactive, looking for opportunities to speak and to practice their speaking skills and so on. Of course, our job also is to facilitate these opportunities for them, but we should not be dragging them to participate. So a mature learner should know the best way for them to achieve their goals. So the role of the teacher in this lesson is unusual because you're not really teaching the language.
Okay.
Even though there are, I think, 2 or 3 slides which are like language related,
can't be taught.
in the sense that
It's not
they show some basic vocabulary that the learner might not know that they know. So this is this nice surprise that, oh, I do understand a little bit of this language, or oh, it seems easier than I thought. So just to have this effect,
Teaches
like
us human
feeling familiar
dictionaries.
with the language. But again, your main role will not be teaching per se. I would say your main roles are your main role is threefold. You will act as a role model, you will act as a counselor, and you will act as a relationship builder. Let's start with the first role, model. What do I mean by that? So I mean that you will be inspiring your student here. And I don't mean like, forcing yourself to inspire anyone. No. The inspiration will come from who you are, because you are a teacher. You have the experience to show your learner what teaching a language is. You have the experience to share maybe some success stories with your learners, some insights, some recommendations. Also, you can talk about your experience as a language learner. many of us are language learners as well as language professionals. So yeah, talk about your experience. What worked for you? What you found difficult? What you found easy? What were the...
Yes, but that's now how they market Lingoda. The way you market Lingoda... Wow. The way you market Lingoda is by saying that you only hire native speakers. There's no mentioning of your teachers having learned a foreign language themselves.
I don't know, breakthrough moments for you as a language learner. And also talk about your experience as a language user. And actually here I was inspired by one of Lingoda teachers, Trevon, whose orientation lesson I observed, and he did a very simple thing, but I really liked it. He said to his learners, as an English speaker, native speaker, I read a lot to build up my vocabulary. I don't remember all the vocabulary, and I really loved it because it's just...
It's beautiful, 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 so inspirational.
As an English speaker, I read a lot to build up my vocabulary, and I don't remember all the vocabulary.
Wow, beautiful, perfect. That's enough, that's enough. When we talk about adult learners, the role of the language teacher, or any teacher for that matter, is to teach the student how to become an independent learner, how to learn alone, without a teacher. As the old proverb goes, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. That's the role of the language teacher. That's what I teach in my books and courses. And that's not what Lingoda teachers do. I speak from experience. There is no such thing as the Lingoda Method. Take their word for it.
Lingoda is a traditional school that has moved online.
And we all know that traditional schools don't work. What works is my method, the virtually native method. And it's all in my book by the same name, which is available on Amazon and virtuallynative.com. You have one life. Don't waste it.